Hey friends, thanks for the response to my last video of a part 2 of the Bed Chronicles. Sorry about it. Not sorry about it, but I know this is my mother's worst fear right now. So I'm going to share my journey with y'all from childhood about the reality of how I grew up and how my family treated me, because ultimately I want to free myself from the misery of other people. I want to free myself from emotionally parenting people who were supposed to take care of me and never took care of me. And I'm facing consequences of the neglect of my family upon my life. Clearly. So I'm gonna share the raw truths. And I know that when I do this, it's going to permanently disown me from a lot of people I am blood related to, and I don't care. It's not my responsibility. I took too much of that on. I don't want to be seen as this guiding light for the problems of adults who are older than me. I'm not here to save anyone. I'm a writer, and so my life's purpose is to share stories about myself and not always be who I am. You know, art is often born out of grief. And instead of resulting to being abusive or an alcoholic or a drug addict or a narcissist, I've chosen art to heal in my life and to share this healing in my art with people. And this is just a testimony of that. I'm okay if I never hear from anyone I'm blood related to ever again. And that includes my mother and my father. Which sounds cold, but I mean it. I've spent 27 years on this earth feeling tortured by life, never feeling loved, never feeling truly ever supported. Really just shamed and manipulated and abused by people who I was supposed to be nurtured by, and that never happened. So I've spent 27 years on planet Earth coping with that, struggling with that, wanting to kill myself because of that. And that's going to end here. Because I want to be a mother. I'm going to be a mother soon. And my worst fear right now is that I'm going to be a parent like my parents were. So to break that cycle of abuse, we have to talk about it and address it. 27 years of my life in suffering, trying to get people to love me back, and I'm accepting now that love will never happen unless these people, my parents, really truly heal. For my father, I don't know that he ever will. I mean, crack and heroin are very serious drugs There's nothing I can do to help him or save him. It's not my responsibility. He has actively chosen this for himself. And my mother, the denial and the lack of self-love and the lack of self-awareness. I don't know. I don't know that she can change that in her 50s. If she spent the next 27 years actively working on herself, then maybe. But I know for a fact I'm accepting at 27 years old, I have no contact with either of my parents. I don't want to be, and I don't care if I ever am again. And that's the truth. My children will not grow up around their grandparents on my side. I can't trust that's a safe idea. Because the ways that I was abused, me and my brother, were never fully addressed. So I'm going to address it. I think I'm just gonna work backwards a little bit, but I've been coping with the realization over the past few years that I was likely sexually abused by my father. And I know that runs in the family on his side. And anything I talk about with my parents, I don't hate them or blame them for how they treated me. I know that they endured worse things and hopefully they enacted upon me and my brother. And I can't imagine how far down the lines this all really goes. And my parents are immigrants. You know, victims of war and genocide and slave trade, whether they can see that or not. But we can't heal as humans unless we talk about the ways we harm each other. And so memories have been coming up of ways my brain has protected me. And I don't remember much of my childhood because I suppressed so much of it because it was so miserable and so dark. But I know, even without having to see clearly memories of it, that I was inappropriately touched as a baby and a young girl. That my father was very abusive, physically and emotionally, neglecting of me. Always playing these torture mind games. Whether that's fake drowning me in a pool or locking me in a dark closet because I'm terrified of the dark. Physically hitting me and attacking me in the home at any random second just because he could, and to toughen me up. He was a terrible alcoholic. He was never not drunk. My spirit has told me that I was possibly drugged with Xanax, which is roofies, by the way. And that's when perhaps more abuse occurred. Abuse that would make sense of how I've grown up and behaved around men. And why I hate being in my body. And why I can't trust anyone. And I know my mom actively, because I remember that she did give me Xanax a lot because she was so emotionally absent and empty of a person. And anytime I was crying, which was all the time because life was so miserable at home, so I was either given drugs, whether I was aware of it or not, or actively ignored. Always put down emotionally, verbal abuse every day. If I ever brought up my feelings, Dad would be more absent. Hi, or just not come home. My mom was not home much either, working to make up for my father's gambling and drug addictions. And she's not even aware herself still today that she's also a drug addict because of her use of Xanax and God knows what else. But if I brought up my emotions, how I felt, just pure absence, pure neglect, or pure denial, or pure rage, where I've always had to cater back to my mother's emotions, that my emotions never mattered, how I felt never mattered. They had my brother when I was 8. And I said I don't remember much, but I do remember being 8 years old and feeling like I have to take care of this newborn baby because my dad is passed out, drunk, high, probably both. So I've always cared for my brother like a mother. and he's an adult now, and I'm scared that, you know, I didn't do enough to protect him, and I couldn't. And yeah, he suffered a lot too. So I learned from a very young age not to trust anyone, not to rely on anyone, not to ask for help, not to talk about my feelings, just hide. That my voice didn't matter, that my presence doesn't matter, that no matter what I do, I'm never deserving of love or a sense of safety. I haven't spoken to my father in a few years. I wish I could give you more clear examples of things they've both said to me and how they treated me, but my brain has seriously blocked these out. And honestly, you don't need to hear it. And I've been torturing myself enough by revisiting all this, but I have to, so I can release them both, because I've been in denial that my mother is just as bad as my father was. And he actively does not reach out to me either, and that was easier to address and get him to leave my life. But my mother, it breaks my heart that I have to cut her off too, because she was my last hope, that I was remotely loved as a child. The truth is, it doesn't exist there either. And I can't teach her that. She has to learn that on her own. Because I want to start over. I want to give myself a fighting chance at life, and to feel loved, and to have a family. And I hope they both heal. I hope everyone in my family heals. And again, I know my parents experienced so much more abuse than what they gave to me, and just no one addresses it because everyone is so starved of love that toxicity and alcoholism and abuse is just normal. That misery is just normal. It's not. People can really live in peace in their life and enjoy their life and to love themselves and other people. My parents chose to numb. They chose drugs over real human connection. And unfortunately, my brother and I were products of those choices. And I'm not gonna live in the past anymore. So thank you for listening. I thought I would explain this better and not cry, and I couldn't do it. I'll probably revisit topics like this a lot because I'm very focused on, obviously, human connection and just healthy family dynamics. Just building real community where no one feels alone. Helping people heal. But I have to be, again, transparent in the ways that I'm healing right now. So you guys know I'm a real person, and don't put me on this superficial pedestal to be looked at as a saving light and grace in an object. That's not why I'm on here. So if you're like me, and you're facing the truth, you're facing the facts that you're the black sheep, that you really can't connect with your family, they don't want to connect with you because they can't connect with themselves, because they are afraid of life, they don't really know God. To find the courage to let go of your pain, and again, have your boundaries, because you can live a good life on earth. That is God's promise to us. If we say yes to it, and we do our part to help create that life, not only for ourselves but other people. And so you're gonna witness me get out of this bed again, I promise, and build the life of my dreams as I've been doing it. With my husband that I get to marry next month, and I'm really excited, but I'm so sad. Because when God blesses you, and God always promised me I would get married to a good man and have a family, but the more I receive that love, the more I see the truth of the ways I was never loved. And it's okay. But I have to allow and I want nothing more than the people I'm related to, my blood, to allow me this. I'm sorry this is hard to watch probably, but thank you. I pray it helps someone know they're not alone, that their trauma is real, the ways you have felt unloved is real. You deserve that love. And that love will come. And in thank you for being on this journey with me of being love. Like, that's all you've ever been. And you've held on to that. So I love you. I see you. And we're gonna keep going. But we gotta be honest. And face the truth of what we need and who we are. And keep finding the courage to let God love us and to take us where we're supposed to go. Who we're supposed to be with, what we're supposed to do. And it's not your fault. Not your fault what you had to go through to be where you are. So as you continue to shine, don't let people put you on pedestals. Don't let people not see the rawness of all that you are and all that you've had to experience to become the highest version of you. Don't let people not honor the courage it took and the sacrifices it took. The healing that you've had to do to be this person that you are today. And who they're about to witness you become. Alright, that's the message, sweet soul. Thank you for listening. I love you. I'll speak to you again soon.